guys, this is Wenzes from Below the Radar Above the System, and I want to talk to you about INFJs and having procrastination due to boredom. I think boredom is one of those things that we kind of tell ourselves or that are really happening that keep us from going places where we just get lazy, and a lot of it has to do that things are not interesting enough to us. They don't stimulate us enough. For example, I never really tried out to be more and talk to people more or create more value to other people or, do things that give my life more meaning or more color or so on. So I didn't have this thing of I had to create something, I had to put effort into something, and I didn't see the sense in it because it just bored me. And I think a really good analogy is this thing when you have kids growing up with TVs, which is, my generation, for example, and then we talk to our parents or our grandparents and they say, how can that be? Why didn't you, when I was your age, I wanted to read all the time. And the reason for this is you get stimulated faster through movies, through things that are already ready, and so on. And I think with books, you still had to go and, absorb that and put some imagination into it. But actually, if you look even further back, of course, if you didn't have anything like this, anything to absorb like a book or something like this, it was even more a thing of using your own imagination to create a life on your terms. There are less pillars that you have to obey or stick to in order to absorb that emotion that you're craving for. So, as I said, I think a lot of it, our boredom is based on the fact that we think we have to stay in this framework in order to get all our emotions. And it's always a higher plateau we should be aiming for, a higher plateau of making your life uncomfortable, getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and maybe leaving all those things out that control you that much. Like for me, it was a point where I was just controlled so much by this one person and by this one energy that was giving me all those emotions that I wanted, that I had to cut it out, and then I had to create all those things on my own. And it is, the cut is difficult if you think about it. You have to getting all your short-term wishes fulfilled, and then just kind of going to a place where everything is dark. There's no real excitement in there, but it's there's not even enough excitement there that you just have to build up everything by your own, and that's where the magic happens. Let me explain it a little bit more. For example, I used to binge watch a lot. I mean, I had those times where I just sat around at home and I just watched episode after episode of some kind of series I wanted to watch, and movies or episodes or whatever it is, TV in general. It gives you a lot of emotions, short-term satisfaction. You feel anger, you feel love, you feel excitement, you feel color in your life through all those things. But once you cut it off, it's not there anymore. It's you want more of it, but nothing really has changed in your life. So you get addicted to certain things in your life that are just, this is what's going on and what has to happen. For example, you can also say, let's say you're part of a group, and that one group has a couple of leaders, the popular kids. If you have a high school cliche situation, you have those popular kids, and they say, this is how everything should be, this is how I want everything to be, and I'm creating some kind of cool environment, and so everybody who wants to be part of that has to obey to my rules. And that's the problem. And so the short-term thing would just to obey to those rules, so you get the short-term satisfaction of having excitement around you, of being liked, and so on. And this can be put on so many situations. On the one hand, I really want to address this thing of getting stimulated through external forces that you're not controlling, as in watching TV, watching episode after episode. I mean, now with Netflix and so on, you can at least choose what you kind of want to watch. You know, before it was like you sit in front of the TV and whatever comes on, you kind of absorb it. And now you can kind of, and when I say you can choose more, you could always choose more, but now it's become socially acceptable to be more of a Netflix kid or guy or, you know, girl, just person, than to be a person who just like turns on the TV. And we have to really make sure that we don't underestimate this social acceptance kind of thing, because it makes things easier. Because if you go against like the things that are accepted in society, it's always uncomfortable. It is. That's just who we are. We always want to be liked and have like some kind of acceptance within a group. So once you really start doing things that are out of that social norm kind of thing, it is difficult, and it does, you know, create a distance for a minute and even more. So for me, it was really hard to understand that this boredom that I got was that I was putting myself in a framework. And within this framework, I did all I could have done. Like, I went high enough, let's say career-wise at my job, not to piss people off that I was like way above everybody around me, but I was still like in the top tier. And I kind of did my thing, as in I tried to create things for myself or have like fashion kind of things I like, but I never went above a point where it really would make people look twice or change their worldview or understand that I'm like going against the social norm and social acceptance and so on. And so I think this is what happens for a lot of INFJs, that we live in this framework because we don't want to shake the boat, and within this framework there's just so much you can do. There's just so much you can, you know, create or do without you know, doing something that makes other people uncomfortable. So on the one hand, it's really important to understand that consciously that's the reason why you're bored. You're doing things that are, you know, okay, and not everything that you like to do. Like, understand you have to really go against that and create your own world and create your own reality and not live by dogma, you know, other people's perception of reality. And at the same time, you can really make that process much more, I wouldn't even say easier, because it is a hard process, but you can make it faster and help yourself go into the right direction if you help yourself to let all those things out of your life. And like TV, watching too much gossip things, watching too much of news as well. Like there's so many things that we're being fed that are just leaving us in this space of where we have to be. Like, I, for example, also stopped watching news. You know, I don't watch TV at all. Like, I watch, as I said, series sometimes and movies on Netflix and so on, and I do have my times where I binge watch, but it's never beneficial. It's like smoking cigarettes. You know, you get addicted to it and you want it more, but if you never had it in the first place, you wouldn't want it. And it doesn't get you anywhere, because every time you fill your time with all those things that are already there, you not only reach like a short-term success and satisfaction, but you also limit yourself to what you can create on your own. Once you like really empty this space out that you already let other people fill in. You know, we say INFJs are like, we can absorb a lot. We not only absorb other people's emotions, we also absorb, you know, social norms and so on. We can just like understand where everything's going, like where everything's coming from. And, you know, they say INFJs are not easily led. This is based on the fact that we can pick up this and pick up that and all of that, and there's still a choice there. But if you leave all that out, the more you can leave out, the more you can fill that space with your own understanding and your own rules and your own version of reality. Because as I always said, we all see reality completely different, and it's, you know, there's many truths on this earth as there are people on this earth, and you will never imagine what a person would, like how a person is inside, like really what they're thinking or what they would create if they didn't have those social norms. I always say, like, you can't tell how somebody looks like if you haven't seen them before, and that's how you cannot see that what their inside is all about. I mean, you can say, let's say if you're an INFJ, you can say, okay, I imagine like I don't know, let's say an Asian person or something. You can, you know, if you say, oh, that's an INFJ, or you say, oh, that's an Asian person, you can kind of understand, like, oh, okay, I know in what kind of area, like how that person will look like in a way, but that's it. Like, there's nothing really personal about it. There's nothing that really makes you distinct or really, really specific, but there are all those truths, and the more you keep all of those things out, you know, as I said, TV, gossip, whatever it is, it's harder. It definitely is harder, but because it's harder, it doesn't bore you so much. So you create like a hard thing in your life that you can fill on your own, create your own impressions. With that alone, you enrich other people's life by sharing that with others, because they first see that you can be yourself. You don't have to go against social norms. You can inspire other people. And since you have like a really difficult or uncomfortable thing in your life, you know, that makes you happy. That doesn't make you bored. Now I do so many more things in my life because I need it. Otherwise it would just, you know, my life would just like crumble. There's a plateau I reached as in what I'm allowing, how much I'm allowing for external influences to really get into my system. And there's just a higher point of boundary, as in I'm not gonna fake who I am, you know, anymore to that point. Like, I'm pretty sure there's still things that I pick up and that I wouldn't do if I didn't have like some kind of social norms happening, you know, or affecting me. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm not that idealistic that I could think that anybody could ever really reach that, but I know it's much better than it used to be. And it's because I kept those things out, and I said, well, if I push all those things out and I'm at this level, it's gonna be painful. Because here, if I push everything out and I'm here, then there's nothing I have. And so I had to reach that, like, lift that level up by putting stuff into my life that I care about, that I think is important, and I'm not faking to be anyone anymore, you know, to that kind of extent. And so boredom, which is so often felt and is such an excuse that we tell ourselves so often, can be turned around, used for something productive and something that really benefits your life, others, and the just the experience of it all, if you're just willing to accept that this boredom is self-inflicted. It's boredom because you don't expect more of yourself than this. Have that as a concept, make it conscious, talk about it, think about it, and things will change. I had like this binge watching episode the last days. I was watching The Good Wife. Don't ask me how I get that. I'm not normally into lawyer things, but I got into it. I was tired and I wanted to do it, and it didn't do me any good. Like, I was really aware of it now because I haven't done it for so long. But I also realized during all that time, I had no new ideas. I had no new, revelations, and I had no drive to do anything, because my short-term needs were being satisfied through absorbing something that was giving me the emotions they wanted to give me. At that time, they wanted me to see them. And so I really think this concept has helped me a lot, and I hope it helps you as well. So that's why I wanted to share it with you. If you like the video, click like, subscribe. I want to know what you think, so comment. And thank you for watching, and talk to you next time. Bye. An INFJ, you think the other INFJ is so much like you, they're supposed to understand you. Or ENFJs or INFPs who have like some things with us in common. Mood is what we need more in our life. And if you do that switch, then things change.